Hey guys, what's up? It's Danielle. So welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I thought I would take you through my crochet organization, and I guess this kind of ties into sewing as well, and a little bit of, some knitting stuff. Truth be told, I am primarily a crocheter. I don't like to really do anything else just because crochet is so easy and it's not very involved. And not only that, it is extremely portable. So first things first, this cabinet is from Target a million years ago. I honestly don't know if they still sell it, but if you guys have been with me for this long, this once upon a time used to be my coffee bar. And then, I've upgraded over the years, and now it's basically just serving as my crochet sort of yarn storage. So I guess one of the biggest questions that you might be asking is, why do I have all of my yarn in a cabinet like this? Well, there's two reasons. Number one is that I am not allowed to buy more yarn than what I can fit in here. So obviously that's a lot of yarn to work with. And number two, my cats, particularly my older cat Mochi, is, they're really cute, love them to death, but they go absolutely feral when it comes to yarn. And I have left out skeins of yarn when I've been making a project, gone to work, come home, and I've found it all over my house. So I do make them their own toys. And obviously I buy them toys. They get stuff for Christmas and their birthdays and things like that. But this is mommy's yarn. Like, I don't know how else to say that. Like, I spend good money on this and I want to actually be able to use it. So I do give them their fair share of toys and stuff like that. But this pretty much stays locked up in this cabinet so that they're not able to get to it, and I don't have to worry about cleaning up, piles of yarn all over my house. So I pretty much only have this organized by type. So I have acrylic on the bottom, and then I have everything else on the top. I don't like to use acrylic for the most part. I find it to be it's not versatile in my opinion. And for the most part, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, but it's nice because there's so many different colors and it's pretty cheap. So I've just collected this over the years, and people have given me yarn, and this is just kind of where I've ended up. So unless I'm making a project that requires a different color, I try to pull from here first. So that's, basically it for the bottom. The top is a little bit different just because I tend to work primarily with cotton. Cotton is like my favorite, and truth be told, my favorite type of cotton yarn you actually get at Hobby Lobby. It's a little bit pricier, but I find that the quality is higher and it's a lot smoother to work with. I also really like the sugar and cream that you get from like Joann's, and honestly I'm not that picky when it comes to it, but I do have some of the scrubby yarn because I was into making dish scrubbies for a long time. But primarily from here over is where I have all of my scrubby yarn, and then also all of my cotton yarn. I have a huge obsession with making pot holders. Don't ask me why. My family makes fun of me for it, but I love making them for every season, every occasion under the sun. I just think it's so much fun, and it's so easy, and you can do so many different things with them. And then in here, this is where I have like different types of appliques that I've made that originally I was intending to use, and then I just kind of never did. And also there's little bits and pieces of projects that I want to hold on to. And then kind of like in the back, I have some yarn that I use for making my cat's toys, which honestly, it's like super easy. I also make them for my mom's cats. I actually need to send some to my brother for his cats. And then kind of like from here over, there's some projects that I need to finish that are more like seasonal, if that makes sense. So that's how I have that organized. I'll take you guys through what I have up top in a minute, but I just wanted to show this first. So I got this for Christmas a couple of years ago. It is a well-known fact in my family that my cats run around with my yarn, and it drives me insane. So my mom got this for me a couple years ago, and I actually really like it because it's a little duffel bag meant for people who knit or crochet. So this center pocket, you can put all your different types of yarn, and I have fit quite a bit in there, but right now I only have the one project I'm working on and one extra skein. And it also came, if you guys can hear rumbling, I'm doing laundry right now, but it also came with this little bag, which is portable. You know, you can like just drag it around like this. You can hang it, what have you. And this is just a way to secure your, you know, ball of yarn, whatever you're working on. And if you want, you can feed it through these loops. I don't tend to do that just because I work on different projects throughout whatever period. And that's one of the worst parts of having ADHD. But there's a little key ring that's on the side, and it came with little stitch markers, which admittedly I never use. And then the front part has a pocket right here, which actually is really nice because there's space for all different sizes of hooks or, you know, whatever. And then you have some other pockets and whatever. I keep a full size pair of scissors in here, which is extremely redundant and unnecessary, but they're in here nonetheless. And then I only have one set of knitting needles. Like I said, I'm not into knitting. I don't enjoy it, but I do have them. So I just keep them in here. I have one, what is it? Tunisian crochet hook, which is on my desk right now that I need to put back. And there's some other pockets on here that I honestly just don't use. So that's pretty much it. But this is nice because I can just kind of drag this around my house, and, you know, I can also travel with this. It makes travel a lot easier, to be perfectly honest. But I tend to just leave this at home. So now I'm going to take you guys through what I have on the top. I won't go through this, but this is all like sewing stuff that admittedly I never ever use. I think the last time I used my sewing machine was like almost 4 years ago when I made the curtains in my kitchen. And then I just ignore the phone stand. But I have this little, call it a tackle box, but it's meant more so for like, I think this is meant for beading, like people who are into beading or just any kind of craft stuff. So I call it a tackle box though, because that's what it looks like to me. But it has measurements right here. So like if you're doing beading or something, it's helpful. And then what's really cool is that this top part comes up. And I think I got this at Walmart. I don't know if they still sell it, but it was a couple years ago. And what's really cool is that there's different compartments. So what I have are these little stitch markers. I use these to hold the ends of my projects so that they don't unravel. and I have a ton of them. And then in here, this is not super organized, but I have my like smaller, kind of more used crochet hooks, I guess you could say. This is actually one of the first ones I ever bought, believe it or not. And I don't know if this is worth mentioning, but I'm kind of picky when it comes to my hooks. So I am not really a fan of the Susan Bates ones, just because I don't like the rounded tops. I actually prefer the ones that are like this, where they're slightly pointed, but they're still rounded enough to where they're not going to snag. And then the ones like this drive me insane. I think this is by, yeah, these are also Susan Bates. I think Boy makes ones like this too, but these drive me insane. Probably because I've just been using ones like these for so many years, but I also have 2 pairs of these foldable scissors. So these are by Fiskars, and I got them at Joann's like many, many years ago. And the cool thing is that you can actually like hang it if you want, or put it on a lanyard, but they do fold up and you can travel with them. I have done that before. Then in the back, I have my least used sizes of hooks. And as you can imagine, I have them in every size known to man, even like the smaller ones that are meant for, you know, more like dainty crochet, which, truth be told, I've been using the same type of acrylic yarn for so long that if I try to switch to something like this, it's really hard for me. And also my hands are really big, so that doesn't help. But below that, I just have an extra little case of, or just the case, but this is what the little stitch marker things come in. I got these from Joann's a million years ago, and I find them all over my house, and, you know, find them in my washer, in my dryer. They're everywhere. I've just kind of accepted it. It's sort of like when you're a girl and you have hair ties everywhere. You can probably hear my washer right now. Okay, the last thing, and this is probably my favorite thing. So, I like to be able to have my stuff be portable. And this makes it super easy when I do travel, which doesn't happen often, but when I travel, I generally like to take my crochet stuff with me because, you know, you have all the time in the world and nothing to do. So I have one of these boxes. This is, I think it's by Really Useful Box is what it's called. And you can get these at, I know they have them on Amazon. I think I got this one at like Staples or something a million years ago. And this is a pencil box. So I just kind of thought that it was perfect to hold all of my stuff. So I usually have my other pair of foldable scissors in here as well, but I think I left it downstairs. So this little container used to have, I think it was like the little things that go on the end of earbuds, and I just swapped it out and I put my little stitch markers in there. And then I have a couple of these that I've made, but this is just to hold my needles. So, you know, obviously this is for finishing my projects, but I just made a little tiny square, just, you know, of single crochet, and I just slip my different sized needles in there, and that way I can always have them with me, and I don't have to go rummaging through here to kind of look for one when I finish a project. And then these are primarily the hooks that I use all the time. Now, truth be told, some of these are like a one-off type of deal, and they don't need to be in here, but The ones that I gravitate towards most, primarily, let's see, I love the, what is this? BH 5mm. This one is probably my favorite. And anything that's 5mm, I love. Generally, I stick around anywhere from about 3.5 to 5.5mm. I don't really go above or below that, just because then it becomes a little too cumbersome. But I do keep a variety in here, obviously, just so that I have whatever I need and I don't have to run back upstairs and, you know, come rummaging through all my stuff. So yeah, that is everything. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this is not the most organized, and I thought about using bins before, but then it would just kind of cut into the amount of storage space I actually had. So this is just kind of what I'm working with. I mean, it's a cabinet full of yarn. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this is also so that I can, like I said, keep it away from my cats who love to steal it, and also so that I don't end up buying more because that was a real problem for a long time, especially with the cotton yarn. I think it was last year or the year before. There was one period of time where I spent like $300-400 just on yarn, and I'm not kidding when I say that. And it was on sale, and I also have no regrets. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll talk to you on my next video. Bye guys.